Learning is a lifelong journey, and sometimes the most unforgettable lessons come from a painful experience. Here's another one of mine. Between 1997 and 2000, I was assigned to China as a plant controller. I was American educated, corporate trained financial manager trainee, now holding the title of financial controller. It was a glorious position, one that many people admire. I was a second in command, reporting only to the general manager. In that role, I had a lot of influence, balancing relationship between the local workforce, local management, my boss, and the upper management back in the US. It was a fine line to walk, figuring out what was appropriate, what's right, where to draw the boundaries. During those 2 to 3 years, I was earning a six-figure income, the highest salary I had ever made. I feel like I was on top of the world. I was back near the land where I was born and raised, with my parents still living there, and I had plenty of friends. It felt like I was a fish finally swim in the right waters. The freedom, the social status, it was intoxicating. I was meeting the high-rank officials, the governor of Industry and Commerce Bank of China, so-called ICBC, the head of the local taxation bureau, even vice mayor of a city with a population of 10 million. I felt important and highly respected. But with all that came a loss of focus. Looking back now, I should have kept a lower profile instead of going out to karaoke, attending parties, drinking, and traveling under the guise of team building. In the process, I forgot who I was. I had two small children back in the US, and my wife was working for National Institute of Health while taking care of them. But I was too caught up with my lifestyle, and eventually it showed in my work, in how I talk to people and how I handle things. One summer day, I got a wake-up call. HR and my boss flew in from our Singapore headquarters, and they came to my office in Beijing and tell me that I was fired. It was a shock and a huge one. I had thought I was untouchable, that I was too important for them to get rid of me, but I was wrong. My six-figure salary vanished overnight. The company took back everything, the phone, the computer, all the assets I had. I had never felt so devastating. It was as if the rug had been pulled out under me. But looking back, I realized I got exactly what I deserved. In some way, it reminds me of Steve Jobs' story. When he was fired from Apple, the very company he founded, he later reflected on how it was one of the best things that ever happened to him, because it taught him invaluable lessons. And in my case, being fired was one of the most important lessons in my life. At 40 years old, I had no idea what to do next. I was completely lost, but that's part of life. It's through those falls you learn who you are and what you need to do to get back up. And just because of this fall, this crush, it made me to think how I should spend the rest of my life. I didn't know what to do, but deep down in my bones, I knew there was a question I need to answer. What is the American dream? What does that really mean? I had to find out. To answer that, I started to explore a different and a new way of life.